Welcome back to another episode here. In the House of Commons, there's a couple ministers going at it over the carbon tax and the carbon rebate, and I just want to put this baby to bed. So I'm going to show you some clips here, and then I'm going to show you some math and also some numbers. And the Liberals need to sit down because they're deceiving us. So first off, here's the clip.
Mr. Speaker, after 8 years of this Prime Minister, British Columbians are having a tough time making ends meet. Mortgages and rents are among the highest in the world. Gas prices, they're the highest in North America. Inflation on groceries have led to the longest lineups ever at food banks. As a former BC MLA, I've seen the light and hope that this NDP Liberal government will also show some common sense and axe the tax. Will the Prime Minister listen to Canadians and take the carbon tax off of farmers, First Nations and families?
So first off, I just want to mention real quick what he just said. There's someone who's seen the light. He used to be a Liberal in BC, and you're going to see here that the Liberals call him out on that.
The Honourable Minister for Natural Resources and Energy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I find the question coming from the Honourable Member very interesting, given that he was a member of the caucus of the BC Liberal government that put in place the carbon price in British Columbia.
They stand up like it's some big revelation, but he literally just told them that he saw the light and went and became a conservative. So it's not like some major gotcha moment like he likes to think it is.
As his leader,
These guys are a joke.
Former Premier Gordon Campbell said at the time, putting a price on carbon pollution is a way to reduce emissions, incent innovation, and drive an economy going forward. And he voted for that.
It's a bunch of nonsense, man. They're all patting each other on the back like a bunch of heroes. Just ruining lives is all they're doing.
The Honourable Member.
You also notice Greg Fergus is back to work after his scandal. He took a couple days off, just kind of hid.
Order. Order. The Honourable Member from Prince George Peace River, Northern Rockies.
Sadly, empty words from these Liberals won't fill empty stomachs. And
There it is.
Kyra Killebuk, an Inuit woman, shares photos of current food prices in Nunavut on her social media. A can of Campbell's potato soup is $11. Wow. A medium box of Cheerios is $17. A small package of ham is $18. Wow. After 8 years, Nunavut knows that this Prime Minister is not worth the cost.
Yeah, none of it's going to be extreme case. We'll call it as it is.
The Honourable Minister for Natural Resources and Energy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As my honourable colleague knows, 8 out of 10 Canadian families actually get more money back. If he would take the time to actually read the study that was published by the University of Calgary recently, the people who are most vulnerable get far more money back than they actually pay. Instead of presenting a plan for the economy or for the environment, the leader of the opposition spends his time musing about pulling us out of the Paris Agreement, joining Nicaragua.
So we're not going to let him rant on about that nonsense. So this guy, I don't like this guy. He rubs me the wrong way. He seems like the most disingenuous, unauthentic person ever. And he keeps spouting all this nonsense about, Canadians get back more than they're paying. Let's do the math now, Mr. Jonathan Wilkinson. So what we have here is a graph that was created by the CBC. Now, I'm just going to take them at the word here. I've checked some other sources, and I've also checked locally for me. I live in British Columbia. These numbers seem to be legitimate. They're not, I know everyone hates the CBC, but not everyone's bad at the CBC. So these numbers look legitimate. Now, if we look at this, what this is monthly payment you would get back down here, which is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, $100. So if you're blue, it means you get money back. Red means you're paying money. And then at the top here, it keeps cycling through. So this is if you make below 50,000, 50 to 100, 100 to 175, 175 to 250, and above 250. These are the numbers they're using to support that Canadians get more money back. But if we look at the real numbers, this is not honest. So first off, if we look at this, see, this is all income levels. Let's go to under 50 right there. Well, so it says most people are getting $20 to $30 back per month. Now, that's if you're making $50,000, and I believe that's for households. In general, most households are making more than $50,000, so really they're not, they're going to be on this far side here where they're getting $10 and not 20 or 30. But for the sake of this, let's just say $30 as the average monthly that you would be getting back from the carbon tax. Okay. All right, so now let's look at the actual numbers, because the Liberals, they're not honest. Like that Jonathan Wilkinson, come on, man. He just keeps saying we're getting more money back than the carbon tax is costing us. Buddy, look at this. So $30, that's what we get from here, right? That's the monthly average that people will get back. Realistically, most people are making more than $50,000 a year, so they're going to get like $10 or whatever, or lose $10 or minus $20, etc. But just say it's $30. We're going to do it in their favor here. That means the average person will be getting $360 back per year. So I just took the 30 times 12, $360 per year. Now in my province of British Columbia, that's what this 434, that number there is the maximum you can get back in British Columbia. But anyways, we're just looking as a nation as a whole, $360 back per year that the government will give you. Now, sure, you can look at these numbers and some people are losing $100 a month and some people are gaining $100 a month. We'll look at that at the end, but even if we just say that it's the maximum you'll get back from the government is $1,200 per year. Okay. But the average person, $360. Now let's look at the cost of food, because the carbon tax affects everything in our economy. So food, we've got some math up here. These numbers are small. I'll just read them out here. So 300 times 2.6. What does that mean? $300 per month is what food used to cost. I know this because I've been living on my own now for the last 22 years, and food used to cost $300 per month. I'm very, very good with my money. I'm very frugal. I'm very diligent about where every dollar goes. I'm not like the average person. I don't have credit card debt. I don't carry debts, except for mortgage or that kind of thing. And I know $300 a month is what the cost of food is for the majority of the last 20 years. That is not the case anymore. So, and I will state too, when I was a very, very poor frugal student, I was living off of $100 a month on food. And today I'm living the exact same way. I can't afford to buy tomatoes or oranges or any of that stuff. I live out of the bargain bins and the dollar store. So my current food budget is $300 a month, even though that exact same diet back in the day was $100 a month. I already talked about it in a couple other videos. I had my business destroyed 3 months ago, and my financial situation has been devastated. That's why I'm living off such a frugal situation here. But the average person, including myself, before I was financially devastated, was paying about $300 a month on food. We're not talking eating out, we're talking groceries. The meals and all that, restaurants, they'll go through the roof. So we're going to multiply that by 2.6. 2.6 or 260%. The reason for that is I look at green peas. Green peas, frozen green peas used to cost $1, 99 cents for a bag of frozen green peas. And you can pick whatever thing you want, cauliflower, carrots, frozen broccoli, corn. They're all $1 for a bag of frozen, whatever it may be. I just look at green peas. And now it's $2.60 for that exact same bag. So thus, inflation is 260%. And if you look at it, that's what all the reports say, about 300%. Obviously, some things vary. I don't eat dairy and meat, but I've seen the prices on those two. They're through the roof. I've got friends who complain about the price of dairy. A block of cheese and butter and all that stuff is through the roof. It's crazy. Obviously, some products will be a lot more, some will be less. But in general, we're going off the 2.6, the green peas. And so we multiply that together, it gets us $780, and then we're going to minus $300 the cost of food, because we still have to eat food. So we're taking that off of that, and what we're left with is $480. Now that is the extra cost from the carbon tax on our food per month. And then we're going to take that, multiply that by 12, and that gives us $5,760. That is the extra yearly cost of the carbon tax on our food. Now this isn't a budget, right? If we look at the actual cost of food is more than that. So the initial food cost of $300 per month times 12 is $3,600 per year, which would be the normal food cost. Now we're adding on $5,760 extra in carbon tax. So now let's go down to gas. The gas cost, we're talking gas in your vehicle. And what I did is took the 11 cents per liter, extra carbon tax has been added to gas, and there's a wide variety of, but most people are not like me who are YouTubers who are sitting at home. Most people are having to drive to work. I used to do that. Drive, burn gas every day. You're filling your tank up once a week or a little bit more, etc. If you know you're getting out and doing a little extra stuff, you go hiking on the weekend, whatever it may be. There's lots of contractors, construction, all these guys, they're filling up their tanks twice a week. So we just broke it down. If you're filling up your tank, an extra, $5, $8, $10, maybe $15 per gas tank of just carbon tax. So you multiply that once a week, $40, $50, $60, etc. So we're doing $50 here times 12. So that's now our annual cost of extra carbon tax on our gas and our vehicles is $600. Home heating. This one's going to vary a lot. Obviously, if you've got home heating oil versus a gas furnace, etc. I live on Vancouver Island. It's the warmest climate in Canada. So I know a lot of you, I did these numbers based on basically everyone else. I've lived in Ontario, lived in Alberta. I know how cold it gets. So we just see here, I've got 12 months. I've got 12 numbers, $25, $25, $75, $50, $100, etc. So all these numbers are the extra carbon tax per month. Because right now, my carbon tax for the last couple of months has been $25. That's the carbon tax, and then the fuel cost is about the same. Then there's a delivery fee and a nonsense fee and blah, blah, blah. So adding these all up, and when it gets really cold, you might get up to $100 extra carbon tax. I've seen numbers actually a lot higher than that. So we've got 2 months here, which are zero, which would be August and July. It's actually probably like $5 because it doesn't really go to zero. But anyways, all that added up is $550. Annual extra just for home heating. I know a lot of you, especially if you've got home heating oil, your number is going to be like a lot higher. It might be $1,500, it might be $2,000, it might be more. It'll be extra, a lot extra. But we're just going conservative with this. We're not going to blow this out of the park. We're keeping numbers very conservative here. And then extras, anything extra you buy, whether it's clothing, it's products people make, they have to ship these things, the trucking cost, everything. The carbon tax has increased the price of all of our goods. And when people make goods now, they have to put those costs in, or they don't make a profit, and then they won't do it. So $1,000, that's pretty limited. It's probably a lot more than that. We're tucking that in there. So all in, what do we got? $7,910 extra from carbon tax, just carbon tax. So when you got Jonathan Wilkinson saying, oh, well, most people get the more back from the carbon tax, the rebate, the smug look on his face, that guy can take a hike. It's like, who cares about the $360 you give us back if you're getting that back when you have to pay $8,000 extra to live? You disingenuous jerk. So anyways, if we minus this $360, we got $7,550 extra because they want to impose a climate tax on us when we have a 1.5% effect on the entire planet. What's China doing? Nothing? This is such a joke. If we had a country where like 95% of our country had 95% of the world's climate, then we could affect, this would make sense. I would be like, okay, yeah, let's do this. But when we literally are affecting the planet by 1 or 2%, it's like we're getting screwed by these people. It's happened in history multiple times now, using climate change as a vehicle to get more taxes or to promote a different agendas. And this is coming from someone who probably has a lower climate footprint than most people in this country. I didn't get my first vehicle until I was 32 years old. It was an electric smart car when I did get one. Thank you very much. So only recently, when I moved out to the island here, I had to switch to a vehicle that can go further than 100 kilometers. Even then, I got a fuel efficient SUV. So I rode my bike for the first 32 years of my life to and from work. So, is there one Liberal MP that has a climate, has a carbon footprint that's even remotely as low as mine? No, there's not. So sit down. Thank you very much, Jonathan Wilkinson. That's the carbon tax numbers, a bunch of bogus BS. If anyone wants to post some better numbers, they think they can do them better, by all means. I got no ego in this. If you want to show better numbers, show better numbers. I'd like to see it. That does it for this one. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. Be sure to subscribe, stay warm, stay fed. I'll see you in the next one.